Welcome back to Capitol Review. I'm Matt Swenson. This is State Representative Kathy Brynaert. Welcome back, Kathy.
Thanks, Matt. Glad to be here again.
And I know that we're talking today about some of the biggest issues you folks are facing in these last 3 weeks of session, and that is health care and human services, as well as the K-12 education budget. And let's focus on education now. I know that this bill is coming out of committee. We're expecting a vote on the House floor sometime next week.
That's right, Matt. Right now, the omnibus bill is being shaped. We're putting together the finance portion and the policy portion and taking amendments. And there's a lot of discussion, particularly around the Race to the Top initiatives that have been discussed quite a bit in the public arena. As you know, and as many of our listeners know, our state didn't receive that Race to the Top funding. But in the course of reviewing the application, we've actually learned a lot about our state. The reason we may not have received the funding is not that we're not moving forward strongly on accountability, but that we have a lot of separate initiatives that need to be brought together. And there's some things in this bill that aim to do that, focus on our quality of our teaching staff, our principals, bring together our evaluation approaches, look at our accountability system, and kind of bring some coherence to that discussion.
And I know you sit on many of the K-12 education committees here in the House. This is an issue that you focus on a great deal here at the Capitol. And I know that you have made it a priority of yours not to cut classrooms this session, and as the bill stands, that's exactly what you're going to do this session.
That's right. We have, and it's not that K-12 hasn't taken its own series of cuts, because if you remember, the shift, while we are intending to pay it back, and that is in the bill, that was an important thing for K-12 for us to put that in statute so that they can count on the repayment. Nevertheless, the shift does cost money to our schools. They have to go out and borrow short term. So they've had their cuts through the shift. And there's the ongoing cut that K-12 is always experiencing through the special education cross-subsidy, because we never pay what it costs for special education. Neither the state nor the federal government fully fund special education.
And I think it is remarkable to point out that, yes, that shift is costly to schools and the K-12 education system statewide, but you folks faced a $6.4 billion deficit last year, another $1 billion deficit this year. With scarce resources, you really have kept your commitment to Minnesota students.
We certainly have, and with good reason. Our students are our future. If we expect to look to the job market of the next decade, we need a very strong K-12 and early childhood system so that our students are educated at the highest level possible.
And let's go back to some of those reforms that you were mentioning. I know that some of these reforms are going to save schools money and give more flexibility to local units of government when making school decisions.
Well, now there were some mandate reductions in that bill. Actually, there's been quite a bit of controversy on one of those mandate reductions around counselors, because we have Minnesota has a very low ratio. We don't have enough counselors for the number of our students, so we're trying to maintain those while still giving districts some flexibility in how they arrive at how many counselors they're able to afford, especially when they're cutting classrooms. So that's one of the long-term discussions we've had, is around how we do that and still give districts choices.
Well, a lot of good stuff in this bill, and I know that the bill will come to the House floor for a final vote next week before it's sent to conference committee, and then after that it will go to the governor's desk.
That's right, and I'd welcome any comment that citizens have from the local perspective about any of the education or health and human services discussions that we're having these last couple of weeks.
Well, thank you for your good work, Representative Brynaert, and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time on Capitol Review.